sound of piano and vibes together with Chick Corea and Gary Burton. It's been a wonderful twist in events that I've been able to work with them in more recent years so closely. But adding now myself to that combination with Jeff and Joe, we've really got a small orchestra, and you can hear that kind of approach that we have to the compositions as much as the improvisations in our previous two albums.
Yeah, for this group, I really like, it's just nice that all the instruments can really be heard, and but yet we try to have a groove. That's something that's important to me.
Of course, made two recordings under the name of Storms, Nocturnes, and I can remember actually when we first got together, I wanted a title for this strange trio. It was kind of virtuosic music, but it was very approachable, as it still is. Finding a title which maybe had some connection with some almost kind of classical elements of the writing. So I wanted the word nocturnes in there, but the music also was so lively, so much fun. It was stormy. So I was talking to a very literary friend of mine now. He's a real famous poet now. And I said, how can I incorporate these words, storms and nocturnes? And he, in his very literary way, said, well, just put a slash between the two of them. And that's what it's remained ever since.
Hey, so this is Geoffrey Keezer. I'm here to tell you some things about our group Storms Nocturnes, which I think is a really cool kind of chamber jazz group that was formed by Tim Garland back in 2001-ish. We actually did a record of his called Made by Walking, which was not written for Storms Nocturnes, but it featured one tune called Trinity that was that sort of became the impetus for the group. Trinity was written for Joe Locke on vibes and myself on piano and Tim on soprano sax, and that kind of became the nucleus for a big body of work that became the music for Storms and Nocturnes. Here I am in my orange painted colored studio in San Diego, California. Tim always joked that this group would have to be called the Jet Lag Trio. Nobody lives in the same time zone. I live in California, Joe Locke lives in New York, and Tim lives in London. So no matter where we play in the world, someone's going to be jet lagged pretty much. You have to count on at least one person being completely whacked out whenever we play concerts. Usually it's me.
We have the opportunity to record again after what must be the getting off at 8 years. Origin Records are putting this out next March, so it's going to be released both sides of the Atlantic. We'll be on a fairly substantial tour, we hope, in Europe, starting in Europe anyway, in March, and then looking at Asia and America later on that year. So plenty of opportunities, I'm hoping, to play this music live.
I think this is the right time for this group to happen, actually. I think we had some great ideas and sort of seeds of ideas that we were working on our first two albums, and I could tell from our last tour, the last time we played Ronnie Scott's and toured around the UK and in Germany, I could see this group now really makes sense. It's really the right time for this to happen, and what I mean by that is I think that each person's playing maybe has matured in a way. I know, not to brag, but I know that my piano playing, I think, has gotten better in the last 10 years, and I know that my left hand has gotten stronger, and that's one thing about this group, or at least my approach to playing piano in this group, that I think is cool and kind of special.
I don't think there's been a time when music like this has been more important, more precious to be able to make.
I love to feel something. You know, I love pretty notes and I love floaty stuff, but I love to feel a pulse and a groove, and that's where I think I can contribute something special to this group.
When I hear this trio, I can hear a kind of integrity, a fun, a joyfulness, all of the things, a playfulness, an inquisitiveness, there is such a word, all of the things, in fact, that got me into music in the first place. And I know that's what we communicate on stage, and that is the biggest buzz of them all.